I mean, it's very rare you're working with your partner.
Yeah.
We're here together, they're in the same office.
We sit next to each other 24/7.
From a business point of view, we'd struggle without Charlotte. Away from the relationship, Charlotte holds it together. We're very lucky in the fact that our overheads probably aren't as high as a lot of other car dealers. Obviously, we've got Auto Trader, which is a massive one, but we own the building. We don't have a high amount of staff in the sales side for 130 cars. We've only got one other salesperson, one valeter.
I think some car dealers might have been
it's
out on making some stock sometimes.
It's fair, but it's comfortable for us.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is it has to be comfortable. If we sell more, it's more stress. It's more anxiety. Yeah, we might make more money, but for us, it's a balance of making money and actually just having a decent life. Every car will sell, every car has sold. It's just at its own time rather than us forcibly making it happen.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 43 of DealerPod, the podcast where we talk to motor trade industry experts nationwide to find out about their businesses and gain any insights that they may have to help you with your car sales operation. My name is Stephen Douglas, and as always I'm joined by Scott Sibley and Martin Carr, and today's podcast is sponsored by Dealerway, the UK's fastest growing platform for motor dealers to trade cars with other like-minded dealers. Now, before we get going into the episode, I'd really appreciate it if you could just hit that like button and subscribe, and make sure you turn on the notification bell as well so you never miss an episode, and that'll help us greatly. All right, so before we introduce this week's guest, let's do This Week in the Motor Trade.
This Week in the Motor Trade, brought to you by Autograb.
This Week in the Motor Trade, sponsored by our partners at Autograb. Make sure you check out the YouTube description below and click the link through to their site and mention DealerPod, and you get a huge 25% off your first 3 months subscription. And make sure you do, because it's a fantastic platform, and I continue month on month to buy more and more cars off it. I think it's really underutilized, and if you've got the time and can put the effort into really searching the private car market, which it helps with massively, I think you'll do really well off it. I think we bought 7 cars off it last month, so it's a good help and definitely worth it. So this week in the motor trade, gents, how have we been getting on, Scott? Have we been busy or not?
Not busy, no. The weekend was disappointing. We started opening on a Sunday again, which we've closed since last December.
I noticed that. I was going to ask you about it. What's the thoughts behind that?
I just think when the job goes off, you look at everything and you analyse everything and you think, well, we're closed there. So if we reopen, that puts a line through that question. Have we missed anything? So we opened yesterday, 10 till 4. We only had one member of staff in each site. And so it was no test drives, no deliveries, none of that. And we sold one car, which was a deal, which was on the boil from the Saturday. So basically we're blanked and it was a waste of time. But we're going to push on with it and keep trying.
Right.
So we've done that. And then our package with Auto Trader, where I dropped down to starter package, because obviously when it goes slightly quieter, you analyse everything. You think, well, was that the impact? So we've moved back up to standard package. Which is 3,000 quid a month extra.
So basically what you're saying is you've had a couple of weeks, quiet month, and you've thought, right, open the door back on a Sunday, get the Auto Trader back up.
Yeah.
So you've reneged on everything that you've done before.
Everything
basically.
I trialed. Well, the data from Auto Trader, and it's true, because we checked it at our end, we're probably down about 30% leads.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, since you went to starter? Since
I dropped the starter, so we've went back to where we were. And a couple of the lads, the sales team, that says, they feel as though there's more, inquiries coming through there now. Mm-hmm. I did some testing on it as well, and our cars were still shown on the platform, but they were down the bottom, which I knew they were going to be down the bottom. But then there's certain cars which we haven't sold, which we should have had inquiries on. And, when you're up against, 2 pages worth of cars above, depending on how the consumer searches, was putting ours to the bottom. So I just thought, for the sake of $3,000 a month, I'll just swallow it and just take the pain.
And do you think it's had any effect yet or not?
Not yet, but I only increased it on Thursday last week, I think.
And are you still struggling off our holiday to Spain that we've been on? Or golfing trip?
Yeah, we're holiday to Spain. Yeah, I think we all singing in the karaoke, Stephen. I've never experienced anything in my life where there's so many girls just like hovering around as if you were on a stage. It was like being at a concert, Martin. You know, when you've seen him in action singing, and they were singing the words, and they had the hands on their chest like this, and they were singing along to them. Their eyes were full as well. It was like being with a celebrity. Never.
Sam and Charlotte looking, going, "What on earth have I signed up for here?" It's like a voice of an angel.
To be honest with you, I do tend to have that effect on ladies when I get on the microphone. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but the last one I seen was she was about 55, and then turned around. Scott turned around and went, "Is he good looking?" No.
No. To be fair, she was mortal. Her, she was absolutely mortal.
And she was homeless. She was homeless. Yeah, and then I took a break from you singing, and I went to KFC because it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's the second place I've been barred from in my life. So Stephen Cooper says, "I'll give you €100 if you go behind the counter and pinch some chips," because there was nobody behind the counter, and I was captured and barred. So MGM Grand in Vegas, and then that's my only two places I've been barred from.
Wow.
I got the chips. I got 2 or 3, and they were nice, but everything what was left in the trough, that apparently they had to dispose of because my dirty fingers had been in there. But we did start drinking at 5 a.m. in the lounge in Newcastle Airport, and this was 1 o'clock in the morning. So we had like a big session. So that's my defence.
Yeah.
Martin, how about Dealerway? How we getting on?
Yeah, to be fair, pretty much what Scott was saying before. Quiet start of last week, but then absolutely finished on a burster.
Mm-hmm. I had a good day the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, really good
day.
So It's nice to see, like I said, even though times are tough, there's still stuff coming through. But stuff, I think we see stuff that's reasonably priced, stuff that's overpriced and what have you, but there's the facilities there. We made a couple of minor tweaks, so now you can see where straight away if it's a franchise dealer or not. So there's a couple of app updates gone out last week. So yeah, very, very, very good.
I put a car on Dealerway 2 or 3 weeks ago and it didn't sell, which is rare because mine always sell. And I thought, well, if I haven't sold it, which I listed it again with Dealerway and it wasn't getting any bids and we didn't know why. So I think the wing was off colour, which was said in the description. So
the Volvo.
Yeah, might have been a Volvo with off colour wing, yeah. So we painted that and just put it through prep. And it was just like, I don't know, it was about 8.5, 9 grand. But I think it sold straight away. We just sold it. So I think what we're going to start and do is, because we've got some spare time with our part exchanges, we might actually prep them for Dealerway. So, because if somebody buys a car on Dealerway and it wants like the back bumper painted or the bonnet or whatever, well, they just build that into the price. So we may as well do the back bumper and the bonnet. And if they've got to MOT it, well, we may as well MOT it and prep it. So we might going to trial putting our cars on there, the cheaper ones, like ready to retail, if you like. So they would just need a valet.
You had that with the ML, didn't you? You prepped the ML.
Well, an ML on there, it got prepped. No, we prepped it, yeah. And then the lads, the sales team said it was, because it was 64 plate, it was a little bit too old for our stock, like banding. And Alex bought it from Cloverley Cars. I seen him this morning actually at the gym, and he said he sold it within 2 days straight away, just sold. Car was fine, it was all good.
Yeah, look nice thing.
Good. So when we're going to, because obviously, for the audience, we went away for a golfing trip. Scott didn't play any golf because he doesn't play golf. No. But obviously we spent the whole time trying to convince him to start playing golf. So I thought we were going to go down to Close House and get you introduced to it and get you started. What's happening?
Well, that was last Wednesday. I've spoken to Paul Suter, who's at one of my sales execs, and he deals in, well, he's a pro golfer, isn't he? He deals in all the golf equipment. Right. So I told him that, and he says, I said, I want like a cheap set of golf clubs. And he says, they're called dead man's clubs. Which I think it's when somebody dies and the kids like inherit them, they don't know what to do with them, so he'll end up buying them. I said, well, maybe it's like a double dead man where a couple of dead people's had them, so the cheaper the better. So he's going to get us the bag. So I think once I've committed and I've bought me bits, we'll need to go up to Close House.
Well, let us know, and then we'll take you down to the driving range and we'll do that.
I still can't see it happening.
No, I mean Martin.
No, he will be, because he wants to go to Close House. For the audience members that don't know, Close House is this big posh place just on the outskirts of Newcastle. It's actually the course what Lee Westwood is the pro at. It's very, very posh, very, very nice, very, very Scott Sibley, and I think he just likes the idea of going in there and yes, I'm a member of Close House, and it's well the footballers play and all the rest. I think that's what he likes the idea of more than the actual golf.
Maybe I should just get a membership so I can say that without actually going.
Hey. cheaper.
Well, I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking, I'll teach you how to play golf. Not that I'm the best golfer in the world to teach anyone, but I'll teach you how to play golf, but you pay my membership to close house, and then that'll work. Because I couldn't afford to play there otherwise. In today's competitive used car market, staying ahead means finding the right stock at the right price every time. I use AutoGrab to do exactly that. With endless listings and constant market shifts, it's tough to know what's worth chasing, but AutoGrab cuts through the noise. Their platform shows me where the value is, lets me filter for high margin stock, and alerts me when the right cars hit the market. If you want better margins and smarter sourcing, head to autograb.co.uk today. Make sure you mention DealerPod when signing up to get 25% off your first 3-month subscription. Right. Anyways, I think we'll introduce this week's guest there. What do you think?
Yes.
So as a first for Dealerway, we've actually got not one, but 2 people on at the same time. They're sharing a camera. So today's guests are the owners of Rally Sport Automotive based in Colchester, Essex. I'm delighted to welcome the podcast, Mr. Sam Nagel and Charlotte Gray. Hi guys, how he's doing? How's the job?
Hi, are you all right?
Yeah.
No, after you crack on.
It has been really quiet recently.
Really?
Yeah, in August we had our record month ever. And then in September it just stopped. And there was absolutely nothing. Which was really tricky actually. And a bit like what you said, Scott, you sort of have to go back and see. I mean, you do all of that side of things of Sam does the business, it's all his. I just do the speaking to the customers and selling the cars.
Yeah. But yeah, no, was it. I think it picked up to the end of September a little bit in there, and we started October not too bad, to be fair. But yeah, it's just quite across the board. We've got a service and MOT centre as well, and that's flatlined. That's always pumping and busy, but even that's quiet. So I don't know if Christmas is starting to approach and people are looking after their pennies a little bit. Obviously, everything out there is still so expensive. The cost of living is still so high. Whether people are starting to feel the pinch.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's no time wasters. So everyone that comes onto the forecourt, we can get a deal out of. It's just there's hardly anyone coming onto the forecourt.
Right.
Yeah, there's definitely no. I want to see 3 or 4 cars. I'm not sure if they're there. They're a really hot lead.
And they've already done their research on your website and what have you beforehand.
Yeah, 100%. And I think perhaps the consumer journey slightly changed. That I think people are so busy, they haven't really got time to go to 3 or 4 dealerships and do that travelling. I mean, a lot of the sort of leads that we're getting are happy over the phone to leave a part payment against the vehicle, and they're too busy to even come down and see it. They just want to pick it up when it's ready and drive it away.
I wonder why that's changed then.
Do you think it's because of all the sort of securities that the buyer's got now?
Yeah, I think there's that, and I think as well. I think we're in a different environment. I mean, I hardly ever go to the shops. Everything's on my phone, and everything's delivered the next day. And I think that sort of buying journey has definitely gone to everything, and cars included.
Yeah, we're the same, Charlotte. I would say 95% of our deals are all done over the internet, over the phone, and the customer only comes to site to collect the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we very, very rarely get someone walk on here and, and isn't already pre-prepared and pre-sort of qualified, pre-sold, which is total change.
And a lot of it is they've got their finance as well already. I've never had it before where so many customers are coming through the door and they've already got a pre-approval online. They've already looked at insurance. And a lot of the pre-approvals are with we were talking to the finance reps the other day, but the pre-approvals are with Zuto and bits and pieces, and they've already got that in place, knowing they want our car, but so they're ready.
Yeah. Well, that's not always a good thing though, because you miss out on commission opportunities,
Yeah, 100%.
We don't deal with Zuto and 24/7, we switch them off.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, we haven't dealt with them for years, and when we were dealing with them, I mean, I know you shouldn't tar everybody with the same brush, but my sales team, they said that the general feeling was that they were very arrogant on the phone and very pushy and awkward and taking cars off sale for a fortnight, and then the last hour there was some problem with the payout, and then there was the ones where if there was a wind back, they were just going to collect the cars from the customers and send them to the auction and saying you owe $5,000 or whatever. So we switched them off.
I think actually we're like the complete opposite. I quite like dealing with them, but you have to be really set in what you're going to do as a company.
Right.
So we won't prep a car without the customer having been in touch with us first and secured it. They know that this is our process, that we won't mark anything as sold. And I think as long as you manage their expectations and what your process is, we get on quite well with them, actually. We do quite a few deals. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 a month come just from third-party brokers.
Yeah.
And are they like Stephen just said, they'll just be like cash no bits, I would guess. Are the people just come and they get the car and they take it away? They wouldn't be interested in warranties and all that kind of stuff.
So we're slightly different anyway. So we don't really upsell any extra add-ons when they buy a car from us. So we don't upsell a warranty. We don't upsell any other protection packages or anything like that.
Right.
You buy the car. If you buy on finance, happy days. After that,
so for us as a business, it doesn't make any difference whether they just pay outright cash or if they go through a broker, because the deal is the same and the money in it is the same.
Yeah, obviously we prefer them if they go through Blue or something like that. Happy days, but it's important just to keep shifting the cars really. We try and keep that margin in.
Do you offer warranties if somebody wanted to buy one?
No,
I don't do it all.
No warranties.
What's the standard that you put out?
We prep the cars really well before they leave us. So because our warranty is with us, the prep is really high because we don't want our cars to come back. If that car goes back, then it costs us more money really, because then we've got tech on it and do it all. And warranty companies are obviously there. Someone's making money. If you're putting a warranty on that car, that warranty company is going to make money out of it. So we might keep that and we'll keep the money, or the warranties in-house. But because our prep's that high anyway, we don't get many come back. But then also from that, we don't sell the extended warranties. But in my head, I see it as a little bit of a headache. So if you sell an extended warranty for, say, 12 months, if in 9 months' time they put a claim in and it gets declined, in my head, they're going to be ringing us and go, you sold us this warranty and now they're declining it.
Yeah.
We're a little bit different from most dealers. We want the easiest life as possible. So if that means not gaining an extra £100, I don't want the £100 because I don't want the headache later on.
I think from my sort of perspective is I want that customer to keep going back. So on the cars, they come back for their MOTs. And in my mind, I want their MOT to be easy and not, that warranty you told me 2 months ago I put a claim in and it was declined.
So they get free MOTs for life with us. So if they buy a car, they come back for their MOT every year and see us, get their MOT, and hopefully they get their service at the same time, or they see the setup we've got and then they want their repairs done or their cam belt. So it's sort of an in just to keep them coming back. So we've got them on the hook. And then if they see another car they like, then hopefully they'll use us and see our reputation and buy from us again.
Do you not think that you're missing an opportunity though? Because I was going to get onto it shortly anyway, because I think you've got your own workshops and what have you. Do you not think you're missing an opportunity to upsell your own warranty, and build a pot that way and use manage it without the warranty company involved?
Don't know if that would cause with more headaches as well, and looking after the pot and the customer, and if the engine does go bang in 9 months, then you're really putting your hand in your pocket.
How long do you stand on for repair? So if you sell
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah. 3 months.
Any repair, anything at all, just 3 months?
Any repair. So if they went down the road and hit a pothole on the coil spring brakes, we'll cover that.
Bring it back.
Really?
And what about month 4 if it's one of these ones where it could have been there at purchase, where the
month 4 you're out. After month 3, that's it. You're on your own.
Unless you're dealing with a Zuto or a 247 and it's on finance, then...
I mean, even then, no, they've been pretty...
You know what? We've never had any of the finance companies come back to us. They've come back to us, and then when we can present to them what we did pre-sale.
Yeah.
Also, the biggest point of the CRA is a point of sale, isn't it? And being able to prove there wasn't there a point of sale. I think where our prep's so high, we MOT everything, we PDI, as most garages do, PDI it, service it. We'll log everything, but we'll also log every repair we've done. When you present that to a finance company, they turn around 9 times out of 10 and go, you know what, fair play, you've done the right thing.
And in the past, we've helped customers out. It's very much if they're going to be reasonable. And we've had it in the past where they've had the car for 5 months and they're reasonable and they've said, is there anything? I know I'm on my own. And we've reduced the cost.
If we'll do the part cost, we'll charge labour out full rate, we might do the part cost. So we keep our reputation intact and they think, we've done them a favour, which we have. But equally, we're not losing out losing out massively,
Yeah.
are we?
And I'm not a very good salesperson either, so I don't know if I'll be able to upsell one.
Should you be in charge of sales then, Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm not very, and I think that sort of is pros and cons. Is I'm not very good at bluffing.
I think it's hard. It's hard for us because none of us are natural salespeople. So I'm certainly not. So as you can probably tell, one of us likes talking more than the other.
Which one's that, Sam?
But I'm very much not a social, outgoing person. So I don't enjoy that side. I prefer sitting in the back office, keeping out of the way. But equally, when I go to buy a car, I don't like that salesperson that is forcing stuff on you or trying to, if you say no to a product and then they go, yeah, but the benefit, well, I've already said no. So don't keep banging on about it. So I didn't want our place to be like that. We want them to come in. They can spend time with the car on their own. They'll go on the test drive on their own. They'll come back, they'll make a decision. And Charlotte and James are just there to help facilitate that sale as opposed to push that sale on them. Obviously, we'll speak to loads of car dealers and they'll say how they've sold the car to someone that didn't really want the car. But that's not us. If they want the car, fantastic. If they didn't want the car, that's when I think we'll end up living with them. And then we'll have the headaches of you'll find every little niggle because deep down, that's not the car that they want.
Guys, can we just rewind a little bit because we've dived straight in? No, that's fine. I just want really just to find out about both of your journeys, how you got to where you were, what when the dealership started, how you guys maybe met each other, and how that sort of works, and just tell us a story from the offer.
No, it's your baby.
So we've got a few different businesses,
right?
And the main one we started with was called Rally Sport Engineering Academy. So it's a training centre for 13 to 16-year-olds. They'll come to us and they'll learn a level 1 IMI qualification in motor vehicle mechanics. And it's for students that are at school that maybe don't quite cope in the normal learning environment or have learning difficulties or behaviour issues. Disruptive. The school will obviously identify them. And I suppose from a school's point of view, they sort of want to move them to somewhere where they become less disruptive for the school environment. But when they come to us, because they're doing something they enjoy and something that's very different from a school environment, they love it. They blossom. They're fantastic. And then from there, they can go on to college, post 16, start level 2. So they've skipped the year when they go to college. So again, that builds their confidence, and hopefully they'll go into the trade. But that's been going for 13 years. From that, we've got one in Wickford and one in Colchester. We bought the building in Colchester, but it's quite a big size building. So we had plans to sort of move on and what could we go into next. And as we were teaching mechanics, we thought, okay, well, let's build a workshop. So we built the workshop. We got that up and running.
But the students don't work on any cars. Any cars that leave their side of the workshop, they stay on run.
Yeah, so they have their own projects.
I know why you do your own prep so cheaply then, because you've got all these students that
Poor labour.
So we built a workshop. We built that out. That's quite big now. And then the natural progression from having a workshop is obviously just start buying cars. You can fix them yourself. And that was us. So we've had the workshop for, I suppose, 9 or 10 years and car sales for 7 or 8 years, I suppose. And then Charlotte joined us. We met, how long ago?
Yeah, so we met on a famous dating website called Tinder. I was a bank manager and was running a couple of branches of a building society. And then we had our boy. And the commute back and forth was really long. And we said, actually, it's not quite working. Why don't you work part-time, doing admin and helping me with your paperwork?
Yeah.
And then I've been here ever since.
About 7 years. The thing with Charlotte is she's really bubbly. She can talk to people. She can start, sometimes I'll sit out the back and listen to a conversation. In my head, I think, how does she have that conversation with people? Because I can't think of them starting points for conversations or how to show an interest or pretend to show an interest in people. I'm very unempathetic and very straight, I suppose. But Charlotte's very bubbly and lively, and she can talk to people. And then that's why people love buying from her, because she is so likable. The natural development was then to or do you want to try selling that customer that car? And then from there, I suppose it's still got from there, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Sam, I take it you're a mechanic by trade then?
No. So when I first started, I didn't know anything about mechanics. So I started as an electrical engineer. I've done an apprenticeship in electrical engineering.
Right.
It was only because the opportunity cropped up to start that academy that I managed to get into the motor trade. Obviously now being in it for so long and having so many issues go through the workshop, you obviously pick up a lot and understand a lot about mechanics, but I was never a mechanic by trade.
So how did that opportunity come up then if you weren't into that?
There was someone that I knew that was running like a little academy.
Right.
It was like 2 days a week. It didn't have any ramps or it didn't have anything tooling wise really. The students would just go in there and sort of walking around the cars really. And me and my business partner Bill saw an opportunity. We thought if we invest some money into this, you know what, that could actually be something fantastic for the students to come out of school and go to. If we put some ramps in, if we bought some projects, we was buying cars. We bought like a Ford Focus, and then we bought the WRC body kit. They put body kit on, they changed all bits, but it maintained their interest. But there was just that opportunity. We saw that if we did put some money into it, it could work. And once we started investing, the school started saying, this is a fantastic opportunity. Then they started pushing students out to us. But I think that will change sort of 5 or 6 years ago when school funding got cut. We used to have mammoth numbers. School funding got cut, and then that sort of dropped down. And again, that pushed us on to opening the car sales. So,
Sam, do the students actually get paid when they're doing it, when they're getting trained, like on site, like a bit like an apprenticeship?
No. So they're coming to us instead of school, really. So it is part of. So we'll be looked at via Ofsted. Ofsted will be part of an Ofsted inspection for a school.
Right.
So they'll come to us and they'll learn that trade and they'll get their qualifications, and then hopefully post 16 they can go off to college.
So who's currently teaching them? Is it you or do you have
No.
staff
So we've got dedicated mechanics tutors that teach.
Right.
Again, it's very secular. They're in their own section of the buildings. The one at Wickford is just an academy, so we don't have any mechanics or car sales there. And the one at Colchester, they've got their own section of the building. And obviously for Ofsted, it's all got to be secure, so you can't just have people going in there, members of the public. So it's all shut off. It's all very, very secure, but it is very, very secular. They'll have their own projects. One of the cars, they took a Ford Fiesta and they it was a front-wheel drive Fiesta. They put a second engine in the rear and made it four-wheel drive running off 2 engines on the same running gear. I don't know, it felt too complex for my head.
You've got some really good tutors, though, that really care about them. So the students that come, their confidence will be so low because they've been told for so many years that they're not very good at anything. Mm-hmm. And admittedly, if you're not interested in geography and you're sat with 29, 14-year-olds that aren't as good at that are doing better, you're going to play up. But that's going to be your natural thing to do. But they're really good here, aren't they?
Fantastic.
Really good.
Yeah.
And do you get the opportunity to cherry pick them as well? Say there's one comes through that is like exceptional, and is there a chance of an opportunity there in the future for them?
There was always the thought in the past, but I think where we've set up the garage and it's so busy, we've not had that opportunity to take someone on to train them up. We are so flat out at the minute where if we recruit, we have to recruit for people to come in, land on their feet and
be ready.
On.
Yeah.
It would be great to take one or two on, and we have dabbled every now and again, haven't we, to look for apprenticeships. But then when we assess it and to do it properly, we need to take a tech away really from that job to train them up and do the job properly. We just haven't got the capacity to
not at the minute. It's not ruled out in the future.
Would be good though if you could get to that point where you had someone and you could show the kids that that's your route. Look, if you do well here and you perform, there might be a ready-made job and apprenticeship here for you. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and they'll sort of go through to the workshop and walk past it, and they can see what the future could be like for a mechanic.
We have apprentices, but I think where the government support is, when I don't know how much they pay, you used to get like 1,500 quid or something for taking one on. But the bit what was missing was if you had one of your techs, working with them all the time, your efficiency for your tech, he's down by 50%, like you said. So if he's on 40 grand a year, you're losing 20 grand a year out of him. So the apprentice is then costing the business 20 grand, even though you're getting 1,500 quid in, which is where the government, I think, should be doing something to put those in. So, we maybe get paid to take somebody on to train them up, to try and bring them through a lot. Because we've got a great lad. We've got Adam. He was ex-army. It's my son's friend, and he's brilliant. He's got the right attitude. Rob Lee downstairs, Rob Lee the legend, we call him. He was our apprentice. He's our longest member of staff, and he started on apprentice. He came from an office. He used to work doing admin, and he's been with us for years. So we've had a few over the years, but I always think it's great to get them in. It's trying to cherry pick the ones with the right attitude, because some we've had them where they've been sent by the parents and they've been on Xboxes all night and they don't really want a job and they don't know what they want to do, and you put a lot of time and effort into them and then they don't work out.
But I think that's recruitment as a whole at the minute. Mm-hmm. I think the amount of, so if Sam wants to apply, advertise for someone, I look for all the CVs, and the amount of people that apply and then they don't get back in touch when you email them to say you want to invite them to an interview, or when they turn up and what they said on the CV actually is completely false.
Yeah.
Or just don't bother turning up.
Well, yeah.
The amount of people I've interviewed in the past, and I think I've actually employed 3 or 4 people now, and they've, all right, okay, start Monday, and then Monday comes and they just don't turn up. It's crazy. I've never known nothing like it. But I actually employed an apprentice 4 or 5 years ago now as a favour to one of my friends, and took his son on as like a marketing thing. And it was sold, it was at the time, because he had his own like apprenticeship firm who got in touch with us and sold us this dream of how they were going to train him up. And I was saying, look, I really don't have the time or the expertise, like, the full expertise really to like have him under my wing 24/7. Is there going to be plenty of support for us? Oh, yes, 100%. You'll not have to do nothing. And it was just a total sales job on us, really. And I don't think he got what he should have been getting out of it, because he was just lumbered on us and they expected me to just teach him digital marketing. I says, look, I know a lot about it. I says, but I don't have the time to do this, and I don't have the full expertise to teach a young lad, and he was here for 2 years, and bless him, it didn't really help the business one iota, after the 2 years, what he produced, because he never learnt enough. I felt like I was spending a good day a week going back and forth with the apprenticeship people, the company. All right, have you filled in this module? Have you done this? And I'm like, hold on, who's on the course here? Because I feel like I'm on the course. It was a nightmare, and I wouldn't do it again. Definitely not.
But I've had that with sales execs though. When you've pulled them in from different industries, and you sit them down and this is the job, this is what you're going to do. In effect, and I'll be honest, I think the whole trade is guilty of this. Is going, there's your desk, there's your phone, there's a pen. When a customer walks on the pitch, this is what you need to do. And I've been guilty of myself. You don't spend the time with them to train them and nurture them all the way through. And there was a bit of data that came out from a group I'd worked with, that if a member of staff got to 12 months, then the likelihood is they would stay long term, because they fall off under 12 months, and it was literally down to training, or the effort that was put into them to nurture them. And I think the industry is guilty, because we're such fast paced that we haven't got the time to look after these people.
So moving on a little bit, you guys have obviously had a bit of an interesting route into selling cars, then, haven't you? So that's an unusual. I don't think we've had anything like that before on the podcast or heard anything like that. So moving on to the car sales side of things, so you started the training centre, you opened the workshops and what have you, which obviously you mentioned that's been really successful for you. The car sales then, was that a bit daunting? Like did you know enough? Have you been learning on the fly?
It's definitely been learning on the fly, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think that's the best way to learn, really.
Yeah.
I quite enjoy buying a car at auction, see how many issues it's got, and see what we've got to do to fix it up. Because certainly cars nowadays, they're not really built to last. Everything is so poorly manufactured or poorly designed, and everything we get through normally needs something.
I think it'd be naive to think anything didn't need. Normally they go through the auctions for a reason.
Yeah. There's a lot we steer clear from now through learning, as I'm sure most car sales places do. So even though we've got our own garage, we still won't buy the Ingenium engines. We'll stay well clear of them. Purely because the timing chain isn't necessarily the end of the world to do that job, but they have a lot of issues after that, post timing chain, so we stay away from them. A lot of automatics, we won't touch a lot of autos, unless it's like a BMW or a Mercedes, because we don't have that specialist equipment or skills in-house to be able to repair them. So we like to be able to repair everything in-house. I think we've been bitten by a few Audi Multitronic or S-Tronic boxes that we have to send off, and then you get your $3,000 bill at the end of it.
We're lucky now. We can be a lot more particular as to what we bring in, and everything that we buy. So part exchanges, we often say no, don't we?
Yeah,
if it's not what we want as a stock piece.
Really?
Yeah.
You get them on Dealerway.
You need to do that and put them on a Dealerway. Yeah, that's you're missing a big trick there.
I was guilty of that, because the sales team, and I've mentioned this on other podcasts before, we would have, like, say, 2 or 3 traders who we would ring up and say, can you give, this is a part exchange, do you want to buy it? And then tell you for an hour how long they'd had one on eBay for, or something like that. And it was like a long story of, hard work trying to get the bids. And then you'd put them in the auction and it would just go in Part X direct lineup, which would always not really achieve what they should do. So we used to struggle. So that's why the Part X Gold originally, the group started, and then obviously the Dealerway app to dispose of the cars. So we found we ended up getting more deals on then, because there was cars where we would say, no, that's not for us, you're going to have to dispose of it yourself, which would kill the deal. Or would say, take it away, buy any car or something like that. And they'd say, oh yeah, okay, we'll come back on Monday. And then you'd never see them again. They'd went somewhere else because they didn't want to have the hassle. So it did open it up slightly.
I don't think we lose many deals for not taking on their part exchanges, really. Yeah.
That's what I mean by it. Customers seem to be so much more prepared. Like 9 times out of 10, they've found from We Buy Any Car in that morning how much they can get. And I think we benefit from We Buy Any Car, all their marketing and how easy they're meant to make it.
We don't lose. There's a lot of things that we don't do that a lot of car dealers do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It doesn't mean they're right.
It doesn't mean necessarily we're right, but one of our big things is alloy wheels. We don't do any wheels, not on a single car. And you go around to a lot of dealers and they'll all say, "Oh, our prep includes the wheels getting done." Some of our wheels can look a bit battered, but we have never lost a sale to not doing a wheel.
Really?
And per car, 200 quid maybe a car. Like if you do 40, 50 cars a month, that's a lot of money to put just into wheels. You
can get away with it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've never lost a sale to wheels.
We do probably 20 sets a week. Just about every single car. There was always a mark somewhere on all the wheels. And the minute we send it up the forecourt, the sales lads are, I couldn't sell that with the mark on there and so on. So we over-prep the cars. We're guilty of over-prepping cars.
Yeah, so we over-prep in the workshop. For us, we'll rather make sure they're mechanically sound, but you've got to stop somewhere because we're here to make money, aren't we? So, we've never done a set of wheels.
I'm interested to find out, going back a little bit to how you set the car sales side up. So did you start with like 10 cars or 20 cars when you first got into it?
Yeah, so we probably bought 10 cars, I suppose. We took a trip up to Maryland at Colchester. Bought 10 cars, bought 10 budget cars, I suppose, between $2,000 and $5,000. Your Peugeot, some 307s was it at the time, or your Fiestas and bits and pieces. And just got them back. We don't know if at the time we sort of poached someone from another car dealer group to come in and set it up for us. And again, he was your sort of independent type car sales manager who would go out and buy them. He'd photo them, he'd sell them, he'd do the prep lists, he'd speak to everyone, he'd do everything. So that one man could do everything, which is what we try and like. We try and like to keep our team small to try and keep our overheads down, because again, it takes that one quiet month where you're then looking at all your overheads thinking, God, that's a lot going out. But we started with 10 cars, and then from there, we just built up. I think we did get up to about 155, didn't we? 160.
Wow.
But we've tried to pull that back a bit now. So we're back down to about 120 at the minute. It was getting too much.
And when did you start buying cars for the sale?
7 or 8 years ago? 9 years ago?
Boys 8, and I only joined you when he was
Maybe 9 years ago, maybe. Yeah, about 9 years ago.
It's impressive that though to have grown that quick. That's good. That.
What about your values, Sam? What do you retail up to? Like, you know, what's your highest price and lowest price?
So now I think their highest price is about 40k. Lowest price at the minute is probably around 5-ish. Most of them are going to be between 7.5 and 15, I think, I would say.
And is that all self-funded then, guys, or he's got any funding behind that?
So there's no funding on them. There's no stocking loans on them.
Wow. Really impressive.
So yeah, I think we've the value is quite high at the minute, but we had a stocking loan when we first started, so we used Next Gear.
Yeah.
He was the grumpiest man I've ever met in my life.
Well, he will be if you had to deal with Next Gear's system every day, because I had a little brief use of it and it was a nightmare.
I used to see him turn up with his fluorescent jacket and be like, "Can I hide?"
No, you're talking about the auditors, aren't you? Yeah. The auditors that come round and know where the cars are. Yeah, we started with Next Year facility. We're starting to get annoyed with seeing every bank statement with sort of 10 or 15 expenses going out every day for different cars. But then COVID obviously occurred, and we made the most of, I don't know if it was the C-Bills loan or the bigger one, the bigger funding pot that you could apply for. Yeah. We applied for that bigger pot, got that pot, and then paid off our stocking loan with it. Yeah. And then obviously then paid that loan off as we worked through. But yeah, without Next Gear it wouldn't have worked, but with it now, I think it also wouldn't work. I don't know how people can get by with 90% of their stock on a stocking loan.
They can't, can they? They're just robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, we were very lucky. We probably had 50-50. We had 50 on stock and 50 on our own money. Yeah. And that was sort of, it was comfortable. I still didn't want to keep paying out to Next Gear all the time. But when you've got stock there that's yours, you can keep turning that facility around. If you need to sell a car and it's on a stocking loan and it's not sold, I'd imagine that's quite a challenge.
Mm-hmm. A quick message from our sponsors, Dealerway. Attention DealerPod listeners, do you want a better, quicker, more profitable way of trading out of your part exchanges or overage stock? List your cars on Dealerway today and connect with over 2,000 vetted trade buyers actively looking for vehicles. No hidden fees, no hassle. Start your own custom auctions from your desk or the palm of your hand in our game-changing app. Or advertise your stock on quick, easy, buy it now listings to our eager buyers who are waiting to quickly acquire vehicles. What are you waiting for? Join Dealerway today at dealerway.co.uk and streamline your disposals. So what does the business look like now then as we sit? So, you know, across the three business, how many staff do you have? How many cars you sell in a month?
Across the three, how many would we have? About 24 members of staff at the minute. Yeah. So we have 10 technicians in the workshop and 3 service advisors. So that's the sort of biggest part of where the wages go to. Yeah. Sales-wise, we've got Charlotte and James, who's our salesman, and then 1 valet. And then we've got the training academy,
which has got 5
members of staff. Yeah.
Wow. So it's a canny operation.
Yes. It's all it's as streamlined as it's going to get.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to take on.
Do you know what it is? It just goes to show you about like online perception. Because obviously, you know, I was going to mention it anyway, but Charlotte, you post a lot, don't you, in the car sales dealers groups, and I am forever seeing your picture and your updates all the time in there. And obviously, I don't read them all, don't see every one, don't have time for it all. But you know, I when Martin said, "Oh, we've got Charlotte coming on," I knew who you were. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, you know, I see all that all the time. But in my mind, I just, because you're so accessible and putting things out there all the time on social media, I don't know why, but I just assumed that you are running your own small dealership, and I thought there might be you, and you know, I didn't realize you had a partner at first, and I thought you might have had a couple of staff. I didn't realize what a big concern that you had, you know. So well done for it. Like it's impressive. Like
I think it's tricky because you don't necessarily like your face being everywhere.
Well, so you
And-
just thought you'd come
yeah.
on DealerPod.
Yeah, I try and stay in the background, but that's us as a whole. I say us, that's me as a whole. I like to keep our name out of the way, out of the limelight. So, you know, you go to car auctions and all the dealers will talk. Well, I like to stand out of the way and stand out of the back and just keep on my own, do my own thing, keep my own path, keep out of any bother.
Very introverted.
Yeah, very introverted. Yeah.
No, you don't come across like that, mind.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. But that's not just in work. If we go out to a party or something, I'll sit at the back with it all my own.
You the boring one at the party, like, are you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I've been really conscious that obviously this is Sam's thing. So although I've got my own identity and on the car, it's come from me as a salesperson. I didn't necessarily want to put everything that Sam's built out there because it's not mine to talk about. Really, it's yours.
So are you just an employee then, Charlotte? You don't have
I
any
am
interest in the
just
company?
an employee. I get
Oh,
reminded
He's keeping you at arm's length, is
all
he?
the time.
I'm glad you've said it.
I've opened a can of worms there. Is there going to be some bogies after this?
I think that's it's very rare that obviously you're working with your partner 24/7. You know, we're here together, though we're in the same office, we're in the same.
We sit next to each other 24/7.
Oh, I don't know how you do it.
Remarkably, we don't really argue.
No.
And I don't know,
Very rarely.
especially considering the stress that sometimes we'll be under. I don't think there's ever a night where we go home and we're not speaking.
And it is a really strange dynamic because obviously this is what Sam has dedicated his whole life to and has done the stress and built it for me to then come in and it's already here. We've had to get through things.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Charlotte at times is sometimes thinking that maybe it is hers and making a decision that wouldn't be the decision that I make. And then I say, well, hold on, we're not doing that. That can obviously sometimes cause and then she'll obviously naturally be a little bit upset by the fact that she's been told no, because no one likes to hear the word no.
Especially if it's a really good idea. In my head, it's a brilliant idea.
So hold on. So you wear the trousers at work, Sam. Who wears the trousers at home?
I say that's pretty split, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty split.
It's very even. Yeah.
It's very chilled out at home.
Right.
But again, we've had a day in the motor trade. You just want to go home and chill out. That you
You
don't
just don't want to do nothing, don't you? You don't want to speak to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to be arguing between us. And again, it's remarkably easy.
It works well.
I'm sure some of our team might not say that when they walk into the office and there's a bit of an atmosphere. But on the general whole, we've worked a way to work well together and exploit each other's talents, I suppose. I can't think.
And it was only meant to be a stopgap, and obviously I'm still here, so it must work.
Do you enjoy working together then? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do. No, I do.
From a business point of view, we'd struggle without Charlotte. So if I sat here away from the relationship, looking at it business-wise, Charlotte holds it together. So she'll also look after a lot of the HR stuff for the team. And because she's so empathetic and can very sort of loving and caring, she'll look after them in ways that I can't. So that benefits the company as a whole.
What would you do if you split up then?
Struggle.
Move offices. Struggle, but the show goes on.
No one's bigger than the company.
Exactly.
You do say that a lot. I think even if we split up, I think she'd still be here.
Yeah.
Working away. But again, we've got a vested interest because of our boy as well.
Yeah. It's
You know,
the
yeah,
bigger
of course.
picture.
It's the end goal
Course.
is what's going to be left to him, really, and what benefits him the most and gives him the life that he can enjoy and not have to worry.
No, I enjoy working together. I'm not sure I necessarily enjoy sometimes the motor trade. I think I came from a really fluffy, lovely environment where everyone was nice to each other, customers weren't angry ever. And then I think I sort of skipped here thinking it was going to be, and then have an angry, shouting customer. And I think I probably cried for the first 2 years solidly about everything. I think I'm over it now. But I
It's
think
eye-opening, isn't it? The motor trade, like people from the outside looking in, just think they've got no idea. They've got no idea.
And I get it with like family or friends, and we'll be out for dinner and I'll hear some of their stresses. And admittedly for them, that is very stressful. And you think, mate, I had a car breakdown after they picked it up and I had the customer screaming down the phone. And like, I think our stress, because it's hard. And it just encompasses everything.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how well you prep a car, there's always that time the customer drives up the road and the light will ping on.
And then always the customer that you weren't sure if you should have sold the car to first.
Yeah. I was at a wedding at the weekend, right? And I was sat next to someone who I didn't know, and he was actually the ex-boss of the bride, and he'd mentioned that he'd bought a car. Because he just asked what I'd done, and I told him what I'd done. And obviously, as soon as you tell someone that you're in the motor trade, they start telling you about that car, or their issues they've had with that car, where they bought the car from, or how much is my car worth, and all the rest of it. You've had them. And he started talking about where he bought this car from and how much of a nightmare he'd had with this car in the dealership where he bought the car from. I'm not going to mention where he bought the car from, but I'll tell you off air because we know the person.
Don't say it was us.
No. It was someone local to us. I'm talking to Scott and Martin because we know the person very, very well, and apparently wasn't very friendly to this person. Anyways, I found myself listening to this guy, tell us his story about his hardship about buying this car and it having a few issues. And he paid like 13 grand for the car. And the more he was talking, the more annoyed I got. And I thought, do you know what it is? I'm at a wedding and I can't really go over the top because, I don't want to spoil someone's big day. But I was sitting there like seething. And eventually he stopped. I went, mate, can I just be honest with you? I goes, you do know that this person that you bought the car off didn't design this car. They didn't build the car. All they've done is sold you a car. I says, you're going on. Like, this guy's completely just out and he's to get you, and he's vendetta that he's sold you the car and that his whole life revolves around you. Like, like take a chill pill. And he was a bit tucked back. And I went, he's actually a really nice bloke. And I says, he's a decent bloke. He's running a business. And I says, he sells a lot of cars. And, he's under stresses and trials and tribulations. And you to him are a hindrance. Your car to him is just as much a hindrance to you as it is to him. You need to give him cut him a bit of slack. And he didn't like it. And it was a bit awkward around the table for a bit, but I thought, no, I'm not just going to let you like sit and slag a car dealer off because you've had an issue with the car, which he's fixed, by the way. But like the car dealer's fixed your car. You've had a few issues. Yeah, it took him a couple of weeks, but now you're sitting slagging him off 6 months later at a wedding. It just didn't sit right with us, and it's that whole thing of customers' expectations are fucking wild, aren't they?
They're mad.
Absolutely
and I think
mad.
we've had to change how. So I used to be that if you have an issue with your car, please ring me. This is my number. And then a weekend after weekend, it'll be 11 o'clock at night. And it wouldn't be an issue that, in my mind, couldn't have waited till Monday. Like the aircon stopped working or like it's exhausting. I take it on emotionally and you just can't do it. You need to be able to say, right, this is work. This is home. Once the door shuts, that's it. We just have to deal with it in the morning. It is absolutely
we changed all that processes, didn't we? We won't be able to access the emails. So which it used to be ring up and put let us know, we'll book you in. But now everything's done via email. So they'll go on our website, fill out a warranty claim form. But that initially takes out that agginess from the customer. We're not getting it down the phone straight away because they've got to fill out a form. Once they've filled out a form, they've got to wait for us to reply. They sort of start to simmer down a little bit then, and then we'll get them booked in. But they've also got to put a photo of their mileage on, and underneath it says, she's done over 3,000 miles, because that'll come up to you're out of warranty. But it just puts them steps in where it starts putting it into the customer's mind. Okay, hold on, maybe one, I haven't got a warranty, or it takes the emotion out of it, like you say. You get an email on a Sunday night, and you think, I've got to go into that Monday morning. We don't have that anymore, which is again, that's changed a lot in the time.
And I think customers have got such a bad perception of the motor trade. Their opinion of us is so low that coming down to buy a car, we've almost got to completely win them over to get them to buy the car. And then they're almost waiting for an issue to happen to reaffirm that we're all awful people that are trying to sell awful cars. So it has worked out. We've had to put things in place to make sure that it doesn't affect home life, haven't we?
Yeah. But I think now we started saying, I don't know where we heard the saying from, but we have started saying to people, I okay, you've got a light come on, a management light, or you've got something with your car, if your car's 8 years old, if you've had that car for 8 years and it just happened, would you be feeling the same way as you are now? And often they go, no. Well, yeah, that's the same thing. I know you've had the car for 2 months, but that car is 8 years old. That's been on the road for 8 years. It's not, it was new to you, but it's not a new car.
Well, you say about like customers' expectations. I don't think anyone's expecting to have a car for long term. I think everyone is expecting to change their car after 2 years. So in their mind, it's a 2-year stopgap. And actually, in those 2 years, they're not really planning to pay any money to maintain it or any money
No.
repairs. Because in 2 years' time, they're going to get a different car on finance and they're going to change again. Whereas perhaps maybe 10, 15 years ago, people were having them longer and there wasn't this, let's keep changing so often.
I actually think people are having to keep them longer at the moment, though, with the way the economy's going and the way the prices are going up. I do think that's changing it slightly, you know, especially with the way people are whinging all the time about being quiet. It must be having an effect. Like, Charlotte, I'm interested to hear you a little bit about, you know, I've noticed on some of your social media posts, and I hope you don't mind us bringing up, but you know, you've mentioned that you have a bit of anxiety sometimes, and you know, you mentioned you try not to take things home with you. Just want to know, because I'll be honest, I've suffered my whole life with anxiety issues, and it's some of that sort of like close to me, and I always sympathise with someone else when they bring it up. But is that process that you've brought in around, you know, not letting the customers sort of dictate you and trying to calm that process first and not take it home with you, has that helped a little bit?
It really has. I think I'm a massive overthinker. I will take on everyone's emotions around me to try and make things better. And I've actually really learned that actually I'm not responsible for anyone else. So whether it was a staff member that's upset, it would almost like feed into it, and I'd always make the situation 10 times worse because I would be feeding into an issue that probably isn't even an issue, but I'm making it an issue. And I think you perhaps, you're not like that, are you? You don't really overthink as much as I overthink about everything. And I think being with Sam's actually really rubbed off on me the right way, that you'll see a situation for as it is, whereas I'm like, oh, they've said that, which might mean that. And then at the end, and by the end, I'm feeling like the worst thing possible has happened because I built myself up the whole way overthinking it. But I think I've always been like that. I just think
just hardwired into someone, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think all the emotions that come with being in the motor trade and how stressful it is probably heightened that. And then we've put quite a few things in place, haven't we? So like if someone staff wives normally they'd text me at night with issues, I just don't read it anymore, because it would be that I'd spend 2 or 3 hours trying to appease someone to make them feel happier, feel more content,
to make yourself feel like that as well,
to make myself feel better, and they'd still leave. So it's I didn't need to.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we've got a really, really, really good team around us now, but we used to have a lot of members of the team that, again, I suppose they were anxious and they were suffering, but they're then putting that onto Charlotte. And then they'll offload one night, you'll come in the next morning and say, oh, you know, should we go and sit down and chat? And they go, no, I'm fine. You think, well, why did you just kick off?
Put me through that.
Or next day you're fine, you don't want to talk about it. So we've had that quite a bit. I mean, we don't have that as much anymore. But I think once you go through the motor trade, once you've been in it a while, you do sort of become less sensitive to it. You know, there used to be a stage where I would stay up all night long worrying about 1-star review if we got one, or, you know, are we going to get a 1-star review for that customer that wasn't happy, or, you know, nowadays, all right, leave your 1-star review, we'll reply, we'll say all we've done, then the customers other customers can make up their mind from our replies.
I think we have so many weekends that were ruined by one particular customer or one particular situation, and you just have, like, our boys growing up so quickly. We work so many hours in the day anyway, and all the days of the week. I mean, we had our first holiday this year, our first family holiday, didn't we? Which is the first holiday we've taken in seven years.
Well, that's wrong, though. You need to make more time for that, because that's what's important, isn't it? You need to go on one every year at least.
Yeah.
You know? Take a leaf out of Scott's book.
He's never
frigging here. He's always on holiday.
Can't afford that. Well, But again, I think that's from last year. We got to the point where you think, no, that's it. We're starting to have holidays. We're starting to shut down. Saturdays we're from sort of 9 till 2. Come 2 o'clock, that's it. We're shut. If the customer's here to 1:45, we go around and say, look, 2 o'clock we're shut. You look at the car for 15 minutes. After that, we're going home.
But that's the benefit of having it was just me and you.
Yeah.
So we had that.
James. Obviously, some of them go, oh, you're not going to stay to show me this car so I can potentially buy it. No. You know we shut at 2 o'clock. We're going to go home and spend time with our family. We don't open Sundays. I know Scott said he's back open Sundays, but we don't open Sundays. We don't open bank holidays.
We used to.
But family time's more important now, really.
We've probably lost deals out of doing it, but actually for us,
doesn't really matter.
No.
I think the older you get, I know this is certainly the case for me, but I think the older you get, the less fucks you give about anyone else and about other things, isn't it? And you realise what is important, don't you? Yeah, and I suppose that alleviates any anxiety you've got as well.
Yeah, but I think we're very lucky in the fact that our overheads probably aren't as high as a lot of other car dealers. Obviously, we've got Auto Trader, which is a massive one, but we own the building. We don't have a high amount of staff in the sales side for 130 cars. We've only got one other salesperson, one valeter. We don't have massive overheads, so we don't have to keep pushing cars out. I imagine if we had massive overheads, then we'd have to open Sundays. We'd have to open bank holidays to try and push them cars out.
How many cars are you selling a month?
It's a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? So we've done 48 in August, and then come to September, I think we've done like 30, didn't we? We want to try and average about 40. 40 is a nice number for us.
The thing is, though, like you mentioned that 40 a month, and like you've got 100 or 130 cars. It's not a big stock turn. That what'll eventually happen? Surely you'll end up with cars sitting around for yonkies.
So we advertise 80, and then we've normally got 50 around. So I think we've probably got them 10 dead cars that everyone has in some corner of their yard, and then we've probably got 20 or in the auctions or on their way to us, and then 20 in prep or something. But we'll always advertise 80, so we'll always try and cap maybe 10 or 15 cars on Auto Trader. As soon as one sells, that's that gap filled. So there's never an empty space on Auto Trader.
I think some car dealers' minds would be blown how long we keep some stock sometimes.
Some car dealers probably come in here and think, what on earth are you playing at? But it works for us. It's comfortable for us.
And that's the whole thing, is it has to be comfortable. If we sell more, it's more stress. It's more anxiety. Yeah, we might make more money, but for us, it's a balance of making money and actually just having a decent life and an easy life. I mean, our Auto Trader rep couldn't understand it, could he? No. The amount of arguments we used to have with him, with him saying, you need to boost this car. It's been in stock for nearly a year. I'm like, yeah, but I don't need to. Like, I don't need it. Will sell when it sells. Every car will sell. Every car has sold. It's just at its own time rather than us forcibly making it happen.
Do you pay much attention to the Auto Trader price markers? The good and the fair and great and all that, or just?
Yes, we try and price to good.
Good.
Lately, we have been pricing a little bit to fair, but that's purely because you can't get the stock from auction at a sensible price.
Yeah.
Again, we're not going to sell a car for nothing because it's a waste of our time, really, just for the sake of having the car there. So a few of them have gone into the fair price marker at a minute. But we do try and keep to good. But we'll buy off of Auto Trader's retail price and work backwards, so we won't go off a cap.
And you just source most of your stock from auction, would you say then?
Yeah, it all comes from auction.
Or from auction. Yeah. And when you get those lights pinging on, what we used to find was the dealers, everybody putting a car on an auction, you got an engine management light off, you just plug it in and switch it off, and then it goes through the auction. You get it off the transporter, you prep it and then sell it, and then 30, 40 mile up the road, ping, the light comes on.
All the time, man.
You've still got to fix it anyway.
Yeah. But we will buy from certain people off the auction. You get to know, don't you? That's again that learning 7 years ago. You buy from certain vendors in the auction, and then it's a bit of a habit that they're the ones that always have the problems. And then you just start to find your feet with the vendors that you want to buy from, the ones you're comfortable buying from.
And I think going back to how many units we're selling, up until March, it was only me. So 40 for me is my max.
It's a lot of cars, for one person. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's a lot for one vault as well.
It is, massively.
When you said you had one vault, I thought you must have him really.
We've downsized on the valeter side. So we took a decision 2 months ago, I suppose, to start pulling back, to start downsizing. It was all getting too much.
Yeah, I think mentally we were both
exhausted. And looking after staff is more problematic 9 times out of 10 than looking after customers. So now we outsource most of our valets, and then they'll come back, and then the valet on site will
refresh them.
We'll go round, we'll mop them, touch them up,
that makes sense.
Them, and do the finishing touches that we want. Then you won't get subcontracting outside.
So although it is sort of like a second person's wage at the subcontractors, it's not the ag and the stress and everything else that comes with having someone else.
We dropped down 2 valeters, so we're probably saving money by contracting out, but the headaches they're getting done so much quicker.
It's holiday pay, it's sick pay, it's employers, and it's all the back end stuff, isn't it?
He said this, she said that. I want this day off, and I don't like him. He's a twat.
It's raining. I don't like that polish. I've got any cloths.
Steals all me coffee. You know, he never buys the milk, and he leaves his cups in the sink, and look at this off.
You sit them down and talk about it, and it's it's not my problem, not my fault. I didn't do nothing wrong. Oh, right, okay. But yeah, that's nice. The 45 is a nice number because, again, you got to prep them. You got to get them through the workshops. Where our workshop's already busy with customer work, to then push another 10 or 15 cars through a month, if we did want to expand, we'll have to look for maybe another mechanic or something like that. So 40 to 45 is a nice number where we can make really good money, but also not have the stress of it.
I suppose if you've got a profitable workshop as well, and you don't really need to push the sales through the roof.
I mean, I must admit, I struggle to understand how car dealers make money if they don't have their own workshop. I really do struggle. The amount of money I see. I
don't have my own workshops, and we make enough money, to be fair.
But you're a bit different, Stephen. Your business is different. A
little bit, yeah. But I would. We used to have our own workshop. And to be honest, we haven't been through that process and having the process we've got now. I'm not sure which is better because of the points that you've just mentioned, staff wise and extra overheads, and it's hard. I probably we're at a site now, to be honest with you, what really we don't have any space for our own workshops, but I probably would like to have maybe a couple of techs. Just more so for anything for the after sales stuff, just so we can say to someone, all right, just look at bring it down, we'll get it sorted, or just for there's always like a last second issue, isn't it? Like like you say, you'll have a car prepped and the customer will be coming to pick it up in half an hour, and all of a sudden the lads will pull it round and then the light will come on. You think, like stuff like that. It would be nice to have someone for that.
Is there a shortage of techs in your area, like the rest of the country, would you say?
I mean, we are very lucky with the tech we've got, so we don't really take on any sort of fast feed techs. All the techs we've got are well trained, well versed in. We'll strip an engine down. Most of them are allowed to do cam belts, timing chains.
Are they expensive? What would they demand every year?
They are expensive. I suppose you're talking 35 to 45, I suppose. Yeah, depending on tester's license or experience.
It is hard to get good techs, though. It's not just good techs, but techs that will actually fit into the environment that we've got.
The team.
Can actually do it,
A lot of technicians I've found, not the ones who've got the minute, but will have an ego or will be too, because obviously I get it, it's their skill, but being too afraid to say, actually, I've got an issue, like, can you help? But the guys that we've got are all really good at bouncing ideas around each other.
Very much a team. And we take a lot of techs on, and this isn't blowing our own trumpet because that's not what I'm really like, but the techs we've got are so good, so strong. We'll take a lot of techs on, they'll come to us and they'll lose their bottle. And they'll look at what's going on around them, and they'll be thinking, bloody hell, I can't keep up with this or do this or just, as skilled as this. And when we say to them, look, we're not expecting you to. You can grow with us. You can learn with us. We'll teach you how to do them things. We'll spend the time with you. So don't worry. Try and relax. But I think they get in their own head so much when they look around. So I think that's their biggest challenge. But we've been lucky.
We brought in a grading system for that. I don't know if it's like A, B, and C or 1, 2, and 3, but you had your master techs, your normal middle of the range techs who can do pretty much most of the stuff, and then your juniors. So, and that was to do with the banding, how much they get paid as well. So if somebody was coming in and they knew they weren't as good as them, they wouldn't feel intimidated by their level. But there was still a bit of a target where they think, well, actually, if I sit my MOT and I do this and do that, I can jump up to their level. So that's why
I think
we
where
do it.
our sort of issue has been is where someone will come somewhere else and think, I'm up here, like I'm really good, like I'm doing everything in this workshop, everyone says that I'm great, and then in the interview they're up here, and then actually when they look around at sometimes a lot younger people around them who are actually up here, suddenly they're like, oh, I'm not quite where I thought I was.
Yeah, we have that a lot. But we're slightly different again to Scott, to yourself, whereas we have got people that maybe can't do, not many, but maybe can't do a cam belt or can't do certain stuff like that. But for us, the wage structure is around who works best with us or works for us or looks after the company. Because that person that might not be able to do a cam belt still puts so much effort into everything else they do.
Yeah, dealing with customers and
just so our wage structure really is about who looks after us.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll look after them.
People who go above and beyond, isn't it?
Yeah, and everyone does in that workshop, and everyone really goes above. Throughout the whole company, everyone's really, really switched on to the company, and what we want, and we're sort of one. It's a bit cliche, isn't it? One big family, but it really is. We try and look after them, and they'll look after us.
Yeah, we do a family barbecue every year, and it's really good fun.
That's good.
So everyone brings their own families, and we put on food, drink, bouncy castles. One of our service advisors lets us take over our garden because our garden isn't big enough. And yeah, that's really good fun.
Yeah, we'll play for Christmas do. We'll go out down the pub most weeks if we can. We've got Scaresbill coming up, so like a horror show. There's quite a lot of us going to that. So we'll try and keep doing stuff for the team that we can, and so to keep that bond going.
I think for us as well, like this is our whole life. These four walls is our home, and so we have to have people with us that actually want to be part of it.
And we want to enjoy it as well. No one really wants to go to work. No one's here thinking, I can work all my life for someone else. But if we can make it as enjoyable for them as they can, and they can enjoy their time here, then that sort of takes that pressure off them as well.
Yeah.
What about, can I ask, in your workshop, how much is the retail rate per hour? How much do you charge for retail out there?
70 plus VAT at the minute.
Oh, we're more up here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's because you're greedy, though.
We're competitive, Stephen. I think we're 100 all in.
The problem is a balance between keeping it competitive and earning enough to keep, obviously, the profit coming in. We've got so many garages around, I suppose, and a lot of the garages in Colchester are actually very good.
And we've been there for years.
Yeah, been there a long time. They're very good. No one's really got a bad reputation. There's a couple of smaller ones that people will steer clear from, but there's some very good garages around, so we're obviously competing against very good garages, and they don't charge. There's one down the road that's their knowledge. If we've got an electrical problem, we'll send a car to them if it outruns us, and they're cheaper than us, so we still have to try and keep it.
And I think it comes back to the whole car dealer side as well, is that no one actually wants to spend money on their vehicle. It's not like when you go to Aldi's and you spend £100 and you've got loads of shopping for it and you can see what you're buying.
You not get loads of shopping for £100 from Aldi now.
No, that's true. That's true. But there's nothing tangible there as to what they're buying. If you say they need a coil spring and they need a suspension arm and they need something else, their car looks exactly the same. They've just obviously spent a lot of money on it.
You're just giving everybody bad news in the service department. I think our service advisors, they get hammered up by the customers because it's not like you buy your car and it's a pleasurable experience, but you put your car on for a service, and if it passes its MOT and you've got a service done and that's all they're paying for, it's great. But you hit them with a bit of bad news and it's going to be an awkward.
Especially with your prices as well, Scott.
Stephen. We're cheap actually in our area.
3,000 look at main dealers. I mean, there's a lot of main dealers around here, and
180 an hour plus VAT.
Yeah, 165 plus.
Yeah.
But a lot of main dealers around here are dead.
Oh, really?
Absolutely dead in their garage side.
Sam, Charlotte, what do you, out of the three, because you've got three sort of separate entities, separate businesses, really, haven't you? What's the biggest time sucker? What do you spend most time on?
Well, I need for sales.
Yeah, we own the sales. Yeah.
Probably sales.
Right.
The garage runs itself. The garage is again, I don't want to keep banging on. The technicians are so good that they'll manage their own diaries. They'll manage their own diaries. They'll ring up the customers. The service advisors are then priced. It all runs itself. They all know what they're doing. They all do a good job. It's the sales, I suppose. I look after the sales prep. So when the car comes in, I'll put it through the workshop, see what it needs, all rub the bits and parts for it. And I really enjoy that side. I enjoy it. I don't want to step away from it and just let other people do it. I enjoy seeing what the cars need.
And you enjoy buying cars.
And I enjoy
because you have an issue.
You
Yeah.
just like spending money.
Does your mechanics, do they work off a garage system? Like Techman or something like that? What do you use?
Garage Hive.
Garage Hive.
Garage Hive is very, 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 very good bit of kit.
We changed both the softwares in January.
So we've got dealer kit for sales, which is obviously very good. If you use it, you know it's a fantastic bit of software that is.
We've got dealer kit coming on the podcast shortly, actually.
Have you?
Ian from dealer kit, it's coming on.
Yeah,
it's really good. I think we bang on about it.
I'm their biggest cheerleader. I love dealer kit. It's been because it was just me doing it. For me, that has given me so much more time, and that has been a saving grace for me.
Who were you with before, Charlotte?
We didn't have a dealer software.
No,
all right.
So it was all manual. So it was like handwriting a test drive form, and then
that'll be a massive difference then.
Yeah.
Yeah, even down to the prep. Obviously, having a spreadsheet of all the cars you want to wear as dealer kit now, it's all there. You can see it, tick it off as it goes. Fantastic bit of kit.
Yeah, we tried Techman, didn't you? You had a
they're very it's too complex, too many raw, and it's not as good as Garage Hive either.
Really?
Where are you buying your cars from at the moment, Sam?
So they're all from auction and all from Mannheim. They all come from Mannheim, over the country, different sites. Don't really like beats,
Do they deliver them, or do you have people who collect from them?
No, they deliver. They deliver them for us. Yeah, so obviously if we buy from Colchester, we'll just run up there with a few technicians and drive them back. But if we buy from Northampton, Leeds, Birmingham, or wherever, they'll obviously get delivered down to us on a truck.
Why you just stick with Mannheim when there's so many other options?
I don't really like BCA or the setup of it. I think maybe it's just because I know Mannheim and it's easy to look at the reports. It's easy to work out what's going on. Whenever I log into BCA, I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong, but all of their cars go through or seem to go through the same auction, no matter where they are in the country.
Yeah.
So in my head, I just want to know what location they're at because then I can figure out how we're going to get them back. So with Mannheim, we have to buy a certain amount to get like a decent transport rate. So if we buy it from Leeds, we've got to buy 10
to get them on
to get them on a lorry that's a decent price. But when you know where they all are, it's easy. Whereas with BCA, if you need to buy a certain amount, you need to try and track where the cars are. Their reports also aren't as good as Mannheim, I don't think.
I'd mentioned on Mannheim on the last podcast, we bought a car which had a finance, like a risk marker on it, which was frustrating because we weren't getting anywhere. But somebody actually from Mannheim, who was one of the auctioneers, had listened to the podcast and he sent me a message straight afterwards and he says, can you give us a reg of that car and I'll look into it for you, and had it cleared straight away. And he's an auctioneer and the people in the office couldn't do it. He got straight onto Santander. And that was the marker was off, and then he sent me the HPI clear thing just straight through. So that was a good result of the podcast. I wasn't dropping them in it, but it was quite good.
So any companies watching this, motor trade related companies that are pissing me Scott or Martin off, just be wary, right? Because that's how powerful the DealerPod is, right? And we'll call yous out, we'll mention you on the pod, and we'll fuck yous over. And we do take freebies.
And we'll take 50% off Auto Trader bills.
We're like
as well.
4 days. We're like free pieces of software. We're like 50% off bills. We're like hotel stays, don't we, Scott?
Oh yeah.
Golf trips, anything like that. And anyone that wants the name mentioned, like in a nice way, just give us a shout. Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, but joking aside, they sorted out Mannheim, so that was good at the end. But we always think the service from the auctions is when we used to buy heavily at the auctions, and I always thought Mannheim really good. And to be fair, BCA was always good with us. I think it speaks you fine. We didn't have any problems. We used to always find the office staff were always helpful and didn't really get many problems.
Yeah, that's how you speak to people, isn't it? It all comes down to how you speak to people. Sometimes you walk into the reception and you've got a dealer shouting at someone. There ain't their problem. If you just speak to them like a human, they'll probably want to help you. Yeah. But you're gonna shout at them.
Shout and ram on, you get nowhere. Yeah, it's respect, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Have you ever had much of a go with motorway or car wow with the likes?
No, we just haven't got the time. Just again, for us, it's just putting time over items like that. We haven't got the time to go out to houses to inspect them, to bring them back. It's a lot easier. And again, it comes down to the fact that we're trying to have an easier life of buying them all from one place.
I used to think that, Sam. If I'm honest with you, I used to think that, but I buy nearly all of my stock from private people now, whether it be motorway, car wow. Don't get us wrong, I buy quite a bit off Dealerway now as well. But and I was thinking, I don't have time for this because it is very labour intensive. But if you manage to get yourself, a couple of good drivers, and you invest in it, and you get a process right, it can be a lot more profitable, mind. A lot more profitable. Oh yeah. I felt like since we like wholly switched from because I was big BCA buyer, a little bit of Mannheim. Since we switched from BCA, buying stuff from CarWow, from other dealers on Dealerway, and from Motorway, our average profit per unit has went up massively, and it's made a big impact on the business.
I think it's driving the cars, and it's when you buy them from the private people, you can jump in, you can drive it, which you can't at the auction. And you can't expect the auction to drive 300 cars what they're putting through the sale. It's not that business model, But that's where we used to get gearboxes and things like that from auction cars because you've got the first and reverse, what everybody hops on about. But at least at somebody's house you could drive it. You got a chance on them, haven't you?
But I would definitely have a look into it because I can only speak from experience, but we're making more money now avoiding auctions and buying from the public.
Certainly worth looking into. I've been on motorway before, and certainly in the locality of us, there's never anything about.
Don't get me wrong. We're the same. We're sending people all down the country all the time.
Yeah,
and don't get us wrong. There's ones that we've got to walk away from, and the cost for money, and fee, in drivers' wages and what have you. But it outweighs. It come the end of the month, the profit the extra profit that we've had out of those deals outweighs what we've spent on the ones that we've had to walk away from. But anyways, guys, time is getting on a little bit now. Before we go, I would like to ask you, what's the plans for the future? Are you just wanting to keep going the way you go now? Are you got any world domination plans? Is any other businesses opening? What's in the future for you?
No, I don't think we've got any world domination plans, have we? It always used to be when we first started, it always used to feel, let's have another site, let's put one in Ipswich, let's have one here. And then the more you get into it, the more you deal with customers, the more you do it, so you think, I haven't got the mental capacity to carry on. Unless you've got like a really good management team that you've put in place that then will free you up to go and do that. But again, you're looking at taking on more overheads and how many more you got to sell to pay for that management team. You think, would I actually make more money having another one? Or if we keep it fairly small, we do what we do it well. I always think someone would make far more money going around the country, picking the cars they want, great spec, and just selling it off their driveway. They probably make fantastic money doing it that way. Whereas we're obviously fighting constantly, a constant battle to sell cars to cover overheads. There's some local to us that are just small little people that go out, find the perfect cars that they want to sell, and I reckon they do really well off of that.
There will be. Yeah.
Unlike us.
And lastly, do you have any parting words of wisdom, any bit of advice for any aspiring would-be motor dealers, or maybe it's a man and wife partnership, a bit like yourselves, like how you cope with the day-to-day of being in the used car trade together? Do you have anything that you could leave as a bit of advice?
I think you just have to leave your ego. And I think that's something I've had to really learn. Like, I've come from where I was quite high up and getting awards and all of this stuff, and to then almost felt like a step back to an extent. Obviously it isn't, but it's not, I promise. But yeah, I think just leaving your ego. And I think especially when selling cars, sometimes my ego gets in the way of if they say they don't like the car because there's something, and I'm like, we should. There's nothing wrong with it. And actually, and I think if someone wants to join the motor trade, it is good, and you can make money, and it can be quite fun.
Especially not all bad.
I think the biggest thing is to set your outline of what you want to achieve, what you want to do, and the processes that you want to put in place, and then stick with it. So we've got processes we like. If a customer doesn't like our processes, then we're not the place for them, and they're not the customer for us.
Tough titty.
And I think it's hard for a lot of car dealers. They'll bend over backwards constantly to try and please the customer, but sometimes that customer can just never be pleased, because the second you bend over, they'll expect you to bend over again and again and again. We're very much, this is it. If you like it, fantastic. We'll look after you. We'll do everything right by you. But if you don't like it, then we're not for you. And we've learned now over the years, haven't we, to really put in processes and not do certain things. And, prep wise, again, customer says there's a chip there. Some dealers might go, we'll have that painted for you. But no, the chip's there. It's a used car. If you want it, fantastic. Then we'll make sure it's as reliable as possible. If you don't want it, then go elsewhere. And 9 times out of 10, they'll always buy, won't they? Or they'll go elsewhere. They'll go, the service wasn't as good there. The car was even ropier. You know what? It's made me realise. And we'll say that to people. We'll say a lot. And don't be afraid for other dealers to say it, as long as you prep your cars well, I suppose. We'll say, look, this is the first car you've seen.
Don't look at the others.
Don't look at the others. Go and take a look around and see what's about. Because then they'll go to that car dealership where that salesman either ignores them or prejudges them or does something to put them off that then makes us look really good. And they'll come back and you go, yeah, I've been around. It wasn't as good elsewhere. The cars were filthy dirty.
They might have had their wheels done, mind. They might have had their wheels done.
But I think it does help being a nice person.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're a nice person, if you look after people, then you'll do all right.
Yeah, like I say, we don't push anyone into it, and I think because we don't push for it, I think people want to buy, don't they? They want to buy from us.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been good to hear from you. Good to hear about your story and about your business and how you operate. It's been really good. Just for anyone still watching, if we spend a lot of time making these podcasts, and I'm sure you're aware the podcast is sponsored by Dealerway. It's obviously the company that myself and Scott run and who Martin works for and does a great job for. If you haven't checked out Dealerway yet, if you're not registered for Dealerway or a Dealerway account, please, if you've watched or listened to any of these podcasts, give it a chance. Get yourself on there, get yourself signed up, because there's cars going on there every single day, all over the country, up and down the country. There's main dealers putting their cars in. There's large car supermarkets putting their cars on. If you've taken part exchanges and you want to get rid of them, make sure you get them on there. It's a really, really good platform. We need to grow it and grow it and grow it, because we think it's really special. And I'm sure if you try, you'll feel that way too. We don't charge much fees at all in comparison to all the other platforms. It's only £99 to purchase a car. There's no selling fees on there. So please, if you have invested a little bit of time, please try and give us something back and give us the opportunity to show you what great product that we've created. And we'd really appreciate that. So, if you want to have a look, it's www.dealerway.co.uk. Also, please check out AutoGrab as well, our sponsors. Those guys do a great job. If you want to buy cars from the public, really, really good piece of software, good piece of kit. And, if you mention the DealerPod to them when you sign up, you get 25% off. And that's it from us, I think. Sam, Charlotte, thanks for coming on.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it. Been excellent.
Great to meet you.
Great to meet you. And I'm sure we'll maybe see you to do or something, or awards do down the line somewhere, and we'll have a catch up. But yeah, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers, guys. Bye.